be it resolved that the Special Interim Investigating Committee created by House Simple Resolution Number 62, that such failure and refusal of the witness to answer such questions was and is an obstruction of the lawful proceedings of the House of Representatives of the 60th Legislature and of the proceedings of this committee. And be it further resolved that a statement of these facts, together with a copy of the testimony of said witness, shall be filed by this committee through its chairman with the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the 60th Legislature, with a request that the same be certified under the seal of the House of Representatives to the District Attorney of Travis County, Texas, in accordance with the provisions of Article 5429F, Vernon's Revised Civil Statutes of the State of Texas.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Davis?
I'd like to make a motion that this committee adopt that resolution that you've read.
Mr. Davis moves the adoption of the resolution. Mr. Clayton seconds. All those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The resolution is adopted. Will be delivered together with the other information required by the provisions of Article 5429F, Revised Civil Statutes of the State of Texas, to the Speaker of the House, who has been informed prior to this time of the anticipated action of this committee, and who has stated to the committee that he will sign, certify, and send the same on to the District Attorney of Travis County for whatever proceedings that August group sees fit to take. This committee stands recessed, subject to call of the chair.
We're off except for and first thing I noticed though that our car was gone, and then the next thing I noticed was the lock on the outside. We have a lock on the door, and then we have a padlock, and the padlock bill was rolled back, and then the lock was still locked, and I knew then that the door wasn't locked because it was on the wrong side. So I opened the door, and my neighbor went in with me, and my daughter went in with me. We got in, we found his shoe, one shoe, we found his hat, and inside the pennies were still all over the floor. All of our checks were down. My money order receipts, the store copies, were scattered all over everywhere, but there wasn't any money. Not even any silver, which we leave in the cash register now. We take out all the bills, but we leave our change in our silver in the pennies. There wasn't anything anywhere.
What do you think has happened to your husband? Do you think that he will turn up, or he'll contact you, or do you have any idea what he's feeling about it?
I have a feeling. I have to say, I'm afraid he won't. I'm afraid he won't.
Is it just a feeling, or you just...
Well, it's just a feeling I got. Because he's never been over the 10 or 15 minutes. We've never had no difficulties or anything of the sort like that. In other words, we work together. We work together at Moore Chevrolet. We work together at Curtis Mathis. We've done a lot. And I'm sorry to say, but I'm just afraid.
Perhaps something.
Well, I hope so, and I hope for the better. I'm looking for the better. Hoping for the better.
So Preston said something to her, says, let me introduce you to Robert. And we're waiting in the waiting line. And she says, well, I'm a policewoman. I said, I can't believe it. You're too pretty to be a policewoman. So she shows me her badge, and she starts teasing. I said, well, you got a boyfriend? She says, no. She said, well, I date a cop. And I said, well, I think you're good looking. I said, well, I'll give you a ticket to come eat spaghetti with me. I invite you to eat spaghetti with my brother's restaurant. And she kept kidding with us, and kept teasing with us back and forth, tell us come up and see us sometime, and she'd come out to eat with us. And I touched her lip like this. I touched her lip. I said, your lipstick tastes pretty good. And she, I don't know, and she smiled, got in her car, cut up with us a few more minutes. Her boyfriend was happened to be coming up there to get his car washed or something. So he says, who is that big fat, we won't go into that. He says, if you don't do something about that, I will. Of course, he never said a word to me. So he made her, she's a rookie police officer in a juvenile. First, she hadn't been there but 1 month. You talking about snake bit, that's me. So, what she does, he gives her a fit. Tells her that don't look right, and he shouldn't have done this, and why was you cutting up with him? You go with me, and why you got one of his cards? I gave her a business card and a place in my brother's restaurant to eat, and so forth. She knew who I was.
Phone number on it?
Sir? Yes, sir. Everything. Sure. And so, yeah. So, which don't make any difference. I don't have anything to hide. So he teases her. He must have harassed her so bad about it. She went down there, and by the time the press got a hold of it, they said a young tough was down there judo chopping a bunch of girls or something. I don't know. And a police officer told me, this friend of mine, he says, Robert, if you were supposed to have been in on this, if you're supposed to have been if this was the case, well, by the time it got in the paper, we didn't know what case it was, the way they blew it up. He said, but you're supposed to have been a judo chop some girl or something like that, and I know you don't know any judo, and you never touched nothing but one lip with one finger. And so this got out in the paper. She's a rookie, so the captain of juvenile, I'm finding out all this later. He says, well, this makes you look bad. You're a rookie cop, and I think you ought to file this, teach everybody a lesson. I don't know who the guy is, but file him. So they file aggravated assault, because it's a woman, so it'd be aggravated assault. And because the police woman couldn't drop it. That's what they tell me. So we go to court, and the judge and a lawyer said, well, this girl's going to probably cry, so why don't you just plead no look contender, just forget about it. Here I am.
From this witness stand and this fourth and final public hearings of the Special Investigative Committee, there have been some accusations, particularly out of the Houston area, where threats and counter-threats from people who operate inside the vending machine business. There have been some accusations leveled at the committee, that the committee was harassing customers of certain vendors in South Texas. There has also been testimony given, not from this particular location, but in what is called executive session. Executive session, under the rules of this committee, of course, is allowed, and what it simply means is that witnesses can, by their own choice, go behind closed doors with the committee and give them the information, and the committee will cross-examine them and ask them questions just as they do in public, except it's behind closed doors. We have learned that one such man who was secretly whisked into that executive session yesterday morning is in fear for his life, so he says. We have also learned that he claims that there are 2 contracts out to wipe him out, to kill him. He also, we have learned, says that he bought up one of these contracts himself and that there is one still existing. He claims that he still is very much in fear of his life. We know that he is getting considerable attention from certain members of the Texas Department of Public Safety, probably as a safety measure as long as this investigation is in progress. Exactly what we're going to hear about or from this man publicly remains to be seen. But we can tell you that his name is Pete Martinez, and he is from Austin, Texas. Whether he will testify publicly, finally, before this committee ends its investigation, we do not know. But certainly what Mr. Martinez and the other people who have testified not only in Austin, but also in Dallas and Fort Worth, this will be made public when the committee makes its report. What will be the outcome of that report? Well, that will be up to the grand juries if there are to be indictments in Texas. This committee, of course, cannot indict. The committee has made its study, will report back and suggest what, if any, remedial legislation is needed to enhance operations of vending machine companies in the state of Texas. For Channel 8 News in Austin, this is Murphy Martin reporting.